Oh, hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. And annyeonghaseyo yorobun. Yes, to all my Korean friends out there. As you can see here in my hand, we're working on the F-18 again. That guy right there. Here, right there. The F-18E by Meng, 1/48 scale. I'm technically doing Maverick's F-18 from the movie Top Gun Maverick, and so we're gonna continue on this today. So I move some stuff out of my way here so we can continue. So yesterday, which happens to be last time, we got the upper and lower fuselages put together. That's all glued together now nicely, and we got the nose section put on with the nose cone. And as you might be able to tell, I put a little bit of putty in there to fill in that little gap. It's not a huge gap, and if I was doing something like painting this plane black or some kind of dark color with a lot of camouflage or something, I probably wouldn't even have bothered with the putty in there. But this thing is going to be painted gray. Although I think the black stripe does come up here, so it probably wouldn't have been seen anyway. I did sand a little bit on the sides here. Let me change my camera to this guy here so you can see it a little better. Did a little bit of sanding here just to make that more smooth and even, and I did it on both sides. The contour of this upper fuselage part wasn't quite matching the lower, and you could feel that little bit of a ridge, so I wanted to fix that, and so I just kind of sanded it down a little bit. And yeah, and that's where we are right now. Ta-da! So today we're going to be putting on some flaps, and we have options. Either the flaps are retracted like this, or if I flip the page, flaps extended. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one, because I am going to be building an F-18F, not necessarily in the near future, but I have one. I've got Hasegawa's F-18F that I want to build, and which is basically the two-seater version of this thing. But they're going to be side by side, and that sort of. I have chosen to make this one with the wings extended out instead of flipped up. That other one I'm going to do with the wings up. I already know I'm going to be doing that. But which one am I going to do, flaps down or flaps up? I might do... You know what? Before I make the decision on that, I should see whether I got the options on the Hasegawa kit to do them fully extended like this. You know what? I'm going to do them extended on this. That's what I'm doing. Extended. Yes. Okay. So that means we're going to kind of skip this page because these are retracted. We're going to do extended. Now you may have noticed I have not put this piece in, and I'm not putting on the canopy nose just yet. Why? Because I don't want to put the delicate stuff and have to do stuff on the bottom and have it sit on that. So I don't really, I'm just going to leave it, even though I assembled this last time, and that goes on right here, kind of like that. Sits like that, and then the glass goes over top. I don't want to do that yet because it's delicate and all, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. So anyway, moving on. We want flaps extended. We're gonna do flaps extended. So we need to grab our A tree and our B tree, A and B. So we have our A tree, which there's nothing much on our A. We need A9 and 10. Let me change my glasses out here. Okay, so you don't have to look at my face. I'm going to change the camera to the overhead again. And unfortunately it's blurry. Why are you blurry? There we go. A9 and 10. These two right here. Okay. It's that one. And that one. All right, so that's it for the A tree. We're going to get our B tree. Here's our B. And we need B9 and 13 and 3 and 17. So here's B9. We need 13. It's going to be over here. This is 13 here. And we need 3. And it's going to go with 17. Oops. And so that's what we're going to start with. So now I have all the pieces to do the opposite side also, but as you can see, I found my knife. But we'll start off with this side and see how it all fits. And then we'll go from there. Okay. There's my Twitch chat box is not working properly. Hello, Deception Man. Nice to see you again. And I don't have my other windows. I just recently, it's because I changed my cameras, you know. I swapped my cameras around. And that's why you're seeing the autofocus on this one, where I didn't have the autofocus on the other one when I had it in this position. And that's why you see this one hunting for focus a lot more often, because, well, this one actually is a better camera. I like it much more. Let's get this fixed up here. There we go. This is kind of ugly, and they've got it undergated here. That's okay, because it really reduces the amount of nub mark on the leading edge there. So that's nice. Take that into consideration. And obviously I didn't prime this side, So that might turn out to be a bit of a challenge. So that's going to go in there just like that. That's easy enough. Okay, there we go. Fits like a glove. Now these two go together. And they just go just like that. Nice and simple. As you can see, obviously I didn't do the primer on the underside of that, and these don't. It's kind of nice that they don't make you have two pointing edges go together like this and have that line, have that seam. They have one go like this, and yeah, that's a nice change. Okay. So, looking at our instructions, we're going to take this, flip it over. We're going to take this guy, and he's going to go like this. And in theory, he can only fit in one direction. Doesn't really slot in or anything. Oh, that's why. They want me to remove two of these. They want me to remove the two outer ones. I can do that. We can do that. Just to make sure they're nice and smooth. We don't have any funky looking nubs. Sure, that's kind of taken care of nicely. Smoothed off, there we go. Better. Now let's see how this fits. It doesn't really fit any better. Oh, there we go. It's just a really tight fit. But it does fit. And that's with this flap extended down. Okay. So, let's put some glue on there, shall we? Fits pretty tight, so I don't want to do a ton of glue. the glue is just going to squeeze out of them holes. So if you can see the angle, sort of see, you can tell by the different shade of black between this and this that it's angled downwards. Now it fits nice and flush against there, so I'm going to use my thin to make sure that glue is nice and solid all along that line. There we go. Alright, so there we go. There we have it. There's our front one. Now we got our rear. This guy, if we flip him over, like the instructions say, this guy has to go like this. We've got a couple of little holes, and that's where these guys are going to come into play. So these guys are supposed to go in right here. But there's inner and outer. So I got to clean these up first. So let's make sure these are going to fit. Okay, there's one. And two. Okay, so as you might be able to tell, the pins for this one, they're really narrow, and these ones, the ones on this one, they're a little bit wider, further apart. Okay, and that tells you where they go on the wing. The ones that are narrow, it's going to go right here, like so. Just like that, okay? And then the ones with the further apart, they're going to go for the inboard, and it's going to sit just like that. Not that you can tell because of the camera angle, but it's sitting right there, okay? That's what we're going to do. Just a couple little drops of glue is all it's going to take. Alright. So now that those are on, right there and there, now we line them up with the two holes here and here. And that's going to give us our angle for the rear. I'm going to just kind of hold them in place while I line this up. It's going to go just like that. There's a little bit of wiggle room, but that's going to work good. Okay, so flip this over so I can put some glue on these. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to hold them down while I line this up. Hold that for a moment. It should only take a moment for the glue to set, to hold it in place. There we go. That's quite the huge angle and the big gap. I think there's going to be another piece that goes in there. And definitely, sure enough, get that out of the way, right there. That takes up this gap. For now, I did move this one around a little bit, so I'm just going to make sure they stay. That should be all right. Okay, so let's start working on the other side here. Let's put this down for a moment, and we'll get our other pieces. So we need this guy. This big guy. And And then we need this guy. And then it was this guy. Alright, and then we needed our 2 pieces from the A tree. There was 9 and 10, but they're calling them opposites, so I gotta find the opposites of 9 and 10. And that's going to be 5 and 6. That's one thing I don't like about their instructions. It's difficult to see where they call out the other side that you need, because they got Chinese writing right beside A6 and right beside A5, and it's a small font, and it makes it a little difficult. You really got to pay attention. Otherwise you can very easily miss it. Okay, I'm going to trim these a little closer. That's all right. Okay. Now with that should make it fit inside this one, no problem. So, let's test fit. Yep, perfect fit. Let's glue that now. All right. That one's done. Okay, these two are going to go together. Just like that. There we go. Okay, so let's clean these two pieces up, because they're going to be part of the action pretty soon. All right. Okay. Going back to this guy, again, we need to cut off these two outer ones. Cut them down pretty close. But just because of the angles, it's a little hard to get in there. I can trim it down pretty good with the knife, get it nice and close, but not perfect. So that's where the file comes in. Now doing this is a little bit overboard because you can't even see it here at all, and you can't see it on this side either. You literally cannot see it. So for me doing this, it's just for my own sense of knowing that it's going to fit and I'm not going to have problems. That's really the only reason behind it. And so there we go. So again, we're going to put some glue on there, on our two little nubs. There and there. Stick that together, just like so. Underneath, I'm going to do the thin along our edge. Just like that. There we go. Forward flaps lowered. And now we'll go to turn this around and we'll put these guys on. So again, we've got our smaller ones towards the outside. Of course, being left-handed, this is a little bit difficult for me. There we go. You'd think that I'd be better at lining it up left-handed, but I'm actually not. Funny enough, I do a lot of things with my right hand even though I am left-handed. Okay, so those are on. So this is going to go there just like on the other side. And just like on the other side, I'm going to kind of do this while the glue is still setting to give me that opportunity to set it where it needs to be. There we go. Looks good. They look like they're the same angles. So that's those. Okay, which means we got to grab our B's. Grab our B's. You want to be careful when you're grabbing your B's. You don't want to injure your B's when you're grabbing your B's. They're very sensitive. We need B1 and B2. Okay? B1 and B2. B1 and B2 are these two. All right. those two cleaned up, with the plane like this, we're going to be putting them in this configuration. Okay, so they have a couple of little slots here and here, and they're going to line up with these little notches here and here and kind of cover up. That's an interesting little layout they've got going on there. Just like that, but with glue. Okay, and just for a little added measure, we got that. Okay, so now we're going to do the same on this side. Try not to put glue on the upper panels. This one's not fitting exactly the same. There it is. Now it is. Just had to give it a little bit of a encouragement. All right. So that's those flaps done. That's those. This one and this one, that's done. So now we're going to move on to our wing tips. Let's check something here. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to do our wing tips down here. So we need our B tree again. What have we got here? We've got flap retracted and flap extended. So we're going to do flap extended. Okay. So we've already got our bottom ones in. I put those in already. Okay. And so they want me to put in the pylon stuff underneath. So we're going to grab, this is retracted. We're doing flap extended, so we want flap extended. So I need A7 and 8. Okay. A7 and 8. Seven and 8. These two here. And they go together, which means I'm going to need 3 and 4 for the other side. Extended position. It doesn't tell me 3 and 4 at all. Maybe on the other page, we'll see. But I can already tell just by the look of the part exactly what it is. So I'm going to take these off now. I'm just going to let them drop over here so that I know which ones are which. That's 3 and 4 over there. Okay, so now we also need A31. A31, and I'm going to guess we need A32 also. So A31 is there. A32 is for the other side, so he's going to go with this little friends over there. Okay, and now F5 is already this piece here. Okay, but we need F8 to go on top, and we need B28 that's going to take up a gap there. So let's find our F and tree. So continuing on, I need what's going to be not this side, but this side. That's going to go here like this. Okay, so we need B28 to take up that gap. B28. Now we've got 27, 28, and 29. So they are different depending on whether you've got them extended or not. So for this side we need 28 right there, and then 27. We'll go with his friends over here. Okay, so let's start working on these. Now I've got the wrong glasses on. Clean this up so that it's going to fit nice and flush. It's really only going to go one way. Got 2 pegs going in 2 little holes, and it's simply just going to sit like this. Nothing really complicated about that, other than without any glue it's a little bit of a tight fit. But put a little bit of glue on there and it fits nice. You just want to have it lined up. Press it down. There you go. And that's that one. So then this is going to go on here, and it lines up just like that. Again, it's not really any pegs or anything for it to line up with. This one little peg here for this one little hole, that's about it. And then I guess you got these are going to go into those little holes there to help guide it. But that's really about it as far as alignment. It all fits a little bit tight, so just give it a bit of a squeeze and that's it. Done. Done and together. I'll add a little bit of thin on there to just make sure it's all going to stay together and be a happy little sandwich. Yep, looks good. And just to seal the deal here, I've built F-18 models where you don't even get that extra thing. It's all one piece. And yeah, so this is kind of a neat change from the norm for me as far as doing these, all the extra pieces. Okay, so these two go together. Just like that. Okay. So that's that. And now we're going to put them on underneath this side here. Now which ones do? We got to put this big guy towards the middle, towards the inner, like that. Sure he's lined up. There we go. And then the smaller guy, he goes on the outside. Line up. There you go. Okay, and that's that. That's those two. All right. Now, obviously, these are going to be replicated over on the other side here. So, let's do those. Clean these two up. Clean these three up, or four. Clean them all up. That's what you got to do. You got to clean everything, especially on the surface where you got your little pegs. And this is just to ensure you get a nice flush fit without any issues. So first, let's get these two together. These two want to be joined together and be a happy little family. Because, well, who doesn't? You know, who doesn't want to have a nice, happy family? Okay, that's it for a minute. Let's flip her over and let's deal with the top side first, just like we did on the other side. Okay, first we're going to do a little test fit, just to make sure you're going to be doing this right. Yep, fits good. And this guy's going to go like this. Going to fit in there. Now, I actually have a busted peg in my test fitting. These busted off, so there's nothing to line them up. So, but that's okay, because glue's going to hold it anyway. glue will hold it anyway. Okay, give that a little bit of a press down. Okay, just like on the other side, put the glue in the same spots, because you know it's all going to be touching there anyway. Give it a bit of a press and make sure it's all fitting. Just like that. We can kind of seal the deal in with this. Here, make sure it's a happy sandwich. It's nice to have happy sandwiches. Sorry, I'm doing this off camera, just need to be able to see. Okay, so that's all together now. Flip her over on the other side. Put these guys on. Again, this guy goes towards the inside, just like that side. Right, and then this little guy, he's got to go on there too. Just like so. All right, and that makes this page. This page is finished, and so we flip over. And we're going to do our flaps on this edge of the wing on both sides. And once again, we need to trim our little pegs off. So, but we're going to hold off on that. We're going to let the glue set on these, and we're going to assemble our little flaps first. So we'll just move this over here. So we've got, again, flap retracted and extended. See, now they're showing the other side, where we're going to the other side. But we've already kind of taken care of this. This section here is done. Okay? So we're going to look at B5 and 24. They go together. Where's my B tree? B5. Okay, and we need 24. That's this guy here. And then we need 15 and 25. Well, here's 25. Okay, there's 25, and we need 15. 15 looks big. Sure enough, there it is, 15. All right, so I already can tell I'm going to need 14 and 26, and because they're kind of together, right? Your lefts and rights. So I already know this one and this one and this one and that one. They're going to go on the other side, but just leave them for now. And we'll do this side. don't know why the camera seems to be flickering. I keep seeing it out of the corner of my eye that it's flickering for some reason. Okay, so I'm guessing, okay, so these two go together, but this is going to be taking up the gap between this one, because this one's going to be hanging down, and then that's going to fill in the gap like this. These two become a sandwich. Just like so. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. And these are ready to be put on. So we need two. For flaps extended, again, we're going to be removing the outer ones. It's a little more difficult now that we've got a bunch of other ones on there, but these are smaller, so they're easier to deal with. Just like that. Okay. So then in theory, this should fit in nicely. In theory, it fits nicely. But you never know, right? It's a tight fit, but it does fit. There we go. Fits good. Do I want to leave it like that? No, I want to put glue on the pegs. There's glue, of course, acting like a lubricant, helps it to slide on. Do the underside just for good measure. There we go. Okay, so now these guys. This has to go like this, and it's got the two little things. So if I turn this around, I should be able to get these to line up. But this one doesn't line up with it at all. So did I choose the wrong ones? Let's take a look at our A tree again. See, these ones are straight, and these ones are not. So they should line up. So I selected the correct ones. So why don't you... Oh, it's just such a small little surface. It only appears to not line up. Okay. So I can put some glue on that. Glue on here, glue on that tiny little one. It's just such a tiny little spot. Oops. There we go. You kind of get the illusion that it's one big flap, but it's not. It does kind of touch in there, and I think I can get away with gluing that like this to add a little extra strength to it. And then of course you have this gap here again. Got this gap that needs to be filled in with this piece, and it's going to go in the same thing. You've got these little pegs with these little slots are going to go in. Unlike the other ones, I'm going to put the glue on this side, as I try to line it up. Without getting glue all over everything. And there we go. Okay, I'll put a little bit of thin on there, just to give it a little bit more rigidity. Okay, so there we go. There's one side. The flap's completely done. So we're going to do the other side. Now for that, we're going to refer to this one. And I was right. B6 and 23, 26 and 14, it's all the same. It's just the opposite side. Okay. It's all the same stuff, it's just the other side. Get these put on, and then I think I'm going to call it a day. And give it a chance for the glue to set on all these flaps. Alright, we're almost ready. Almost. It seems no matter how close you cut with the nippers, you still have that little bit of a bump that you have to carve away every time. Okay, so these two go together. And these two make a sandwich. Not really a sandwich, but you know what I mean. Just like that. Okay, let that sit. Alright, so turn this around to here. This guy with this rounded edge facing forward. How did I do this before? Like this. Line up those holes. Line up the holes. Good thing I didn't put glue on it yet. I have glue smeared all over it. Why won't it line up? Probably because I don't have this lined up. And I definitely don't. So what is the problem here? Why won't you... Like, it's not lined up in the least. I might have to take the peg off of it. I think that's exactly what I'm going to have to do. This little one I can get lined up, but the big guy, it won't line up. I'm not sure why. Maybe that's why. Does that help? No. Okay, so I'm going to have to take the little nub off of him. Kind of like that. Because he's just not cooperating. And sometimes that's just the way it is. So the only one I'm going to line up is the outside one. I'll try and do this as smoothly as possible. There we go. So it's still glued, it just doesn't have the locator peg. That's really the only difference. I can still put some thin there on that edge to mate it against the bigger piece. In fact, I'm going to do that again with this one. Similar fashion, we got to have our one taking up the space there, that gap. So we'll put some glue on those little spots. And try and get this in as seamlessly as possible. Just like that. And once again, some glue on there and underneath and on that edge in case it's touching. Sometimes it's really hard to tell if it's actually touching, but you put the glue in there anyway just to make sure, and sure enough, it holds it. And finally, we have our leading edge, our forward flap. Do a test fit. Again, tight fit, just like that. It does fit. Put some glue on those little pegs. fits nice and tight. And just for good measure, we'll do the underside also. There we go. Okay, so there's our flaps. That's going to be it for this page. Get my nubs off of there. So let's see, next page. Next page is dealing with the folded wings, if we're doing that, but we're not, obviously. My wings are not folded. So this page is irrelevant. Again, folded wings. And so now we've got our vertical fins. That's going to be next. And then our exhaust nozzles. So that's going to be fun when we get to that part. So that's where I'm going to finish it off for here today. And let this all set before I play with it at all anymore. I do want to, as you can see, I've got quite a bit of areas where I didn't prime because I didn't realize I needed to do that side also. So it's kind of funny that it doesn't quite line up, but that one does. It's very close, but not quite. Anyway, I do want to prime that. So I want to get some primer on there just for consistency, because if I don't prime it, when I go to paint, you're going to notice, well, I will notice anyway, the difference in the shade of gray between the gray and the black, because one is going to be covering black and the other's not. And it's just going to, I'm going to notice it, and so it's going to bug me. So I'm going to have to primer that and maybe hit these little leading edges here too, where it's not primed, just for consistency, to make sure the whole thing is all primed the same color. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Like I said, I'm going to let this sit with all my flaps down and extended. Let that set nice and dry and hard. And yeah. So like I said, we're going to call it here. Call it for a day. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and I want to thank you for coming out. You guys who support me on the YouTube and all that, and the good comments, that's really awesome. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it a lot. And yeah, check out my Instagram. You can see my still shots of stuff I build there. And head on over to my Twitch and follow me on Twitch. Yeah, all my usual stuff. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below. Like my videos if you like it. Put comments down there. I'd love to hear from you guys and get the feedback. And yeah, so once again, repeating myself now, call it a day. And thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out. We'll see you all in the next one. Pew.